All right, guys, you are welcome to another live session. Tonight, we'll continue the app that we started building a couple of days ago. I've not been able to come online for the last few days. It's been a very busy day for me, so I couldn't, come online in all this time. But what I'll be doing today is to continue the hub that we started building, the Career Accelerator Hub. One more thing that I will be doing because I got some feedback after the last live that I did, and one of the things that was one of the feedback I got was that there are people who are joining who do not have knowledge of coding, okay, that do not know how to code. So what I'll be doing today is, as the AI is building the application, I'll be explaining like more of it, teaching you how some of these things work in the back end. I also got a feedback, all right, that some of the terms or terminologies I was using was not user friendly. That if I'm using a terminology, then I should be breaking it down, or so to say, explaining it to in a way that beginners would understand what it means to build, or the terms that are used when it comes to software development. So I will try to do that tonight. I will try to um, as I'm teaching, I'm also building, and then I will be explaining things as simple as I can explain them, so that anyone who joins benefit from it. So this is what I'm going to do tonight. I'm convinced that tonight, you will get more value than last week, because within that time frame, I have dedicated time to write an ebook. So it's a structured ebook that I can easily teach from while we continue the coding session. You see, so I think this would be really helpful for everybody, and I hope that we are going to have a very good session tonight. Okay, 1 minute. I'm just trying to share my link for somebody who needs it. Bear with me 1 minute. Let me see if I can just share the link directly. Share. Okay. And by the way, I am available. This live is going on Facebook, on TikTok, and on YouTube. So this is not just a YouTube thing. So it is important that you understand this. I will be explaining this bit by bit. So if you have a pen, please just get a pen ready, because this will be not just building only. I'll be building, and I'll also be explaining some of the things you need to know, and how to, really understand how to build some of these things yourself. And anybody can build now. And I'm saying it confidently that you don't really need to know how to build per se. You don't really need know how to build anything at all. So I believe that you should be able to build if you follow the tutorials and the way I'm teaching this step by step. You would be able to build your own. Okay, so let's begin. Let's just do an overview of what happened the last time, and then where we were. Let me see, where are we now? Okay, so this was the application we were building earlier, the Career Accelerator, and in the Markdown document, that is the Research MD. When you are building an app, and you've told the AI to research it and give you how it should be built, the AI agent would normally come up with a research MD. MD is what the meaning of the MD there is Markdown. That is a format where a machine can easily read. The machine often write their documentation mostly in this format and other formats, so JSON and other formats like that. But for a structured writing that everybody can understand, it's usually write it in this way. So even if you are not tech savvy, you will still be able to read it. So some of the things that we were building into this application, the Career Accelerator application, the last time I was online, was that one, you'll be able to give it your CV, then it will give you the ATS score before you even send it for an application at all. And then secondly, it will match the score. Then there will be the compliance gate where it's going to read, all right, and things, and then make sure that the CV and your LinkedIn profile is properly written to date. There will be an email composer. All right, it writes the email, it help you write it. So, for example, you want to write a cover letter that needs to be sent out, you need to write an application that needs to be sent out, it will be able to do that for you. So, it will do a number of things, all right, and then we are trying to put everything together now. But where we stopped last week was that we built it to the point where the back end structure was beginning to come together, the architecture itself. So the architecture is how the back end connects, basically the APIs, the endpoints. Endpoints are links that connect things together and make them work. That is the simplest way I can explain it. So this was where we stopped, and this was the feedback it gives me the last time. All right. So before I continue, I just want to share a few things from my ebook. All right, so that I can begin to explain some of the things. The foundation, the things that you need, basically, what you need before you start coding. So this is vibe coding or AI coding, as you will call it. Ideally, vibe coding would mean you have some knowledge of coding, and then you are using AI to enhance that coding. But in this case, you don't have any knowledge, or maybe you may have some knowledge, or you don't have any knowledge at all. But what I'm teaching you practically is, even if you don't have any coding experience, you don't know how to code, there are ways you can structure the coding prompt, give it to an AI, and it will deliver the application that you are looking to get out of it. Okay, so these are the things you need. So I just have to do this all over before we continue to build the application in this live session again. One, you need a laptop, whether a laptop or a desktop computer, Windows, Mac, Linux, anyone is fine. All right, it should be somewhere around 7 to 8 years old. 6 to 7, 8 years old is also fine. You need an internet connection. For all my coding, I mean the practical coding itself, I use Claude. All right, so you will need a Claude account with Claude Code Access. The Claude is built by Anthropic. So Anthropic has two versions, so to say. There is the API version where developers pay for API. They use the code using API, or there is a subscription model. The one I use is a subscription model. I also have the API account. I use it for some other things. But for this course and for what I build often, it's cheaper to use the subscription model. Okay. So you need that account. I pay, I think, £18 every month for the subscription. Now, you also need a GitHub account. What is a GitHub account? A GitHub account basically is where your code lives. So after you've built everything locally on your laptop, you then need to send it to GitHub, or you deploy it to GitHub as it is often said, or you commit it to GitHub as it is often used. What that does is that code lives in GitHub, in your GitHub account. So even if anything happens to your laptop, it crashes, then your code is saved in GitHub. So just see GitHub as a cloud server where you save all your coding files. It is free. Just go to github.com. You'll be able to register an account with GitHub. All right. Let me see. Yes, go to github.com, and then that would help. Somebody's asking me to send and share. Let me see what I can share. I'm not. So I'm not. This live is only on 3 places: Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at the moment. So I've not gone live on Instagram. I've not even tried it before. Let me give you the Facebook link though. Let me see. I should be able to get the Facebook link. 1 minute, please. Mr. Peace, thank you very much for watching from Scotland. Thank you for coming online. Please, if you can share on your status, I'll be very glad. Please help me share it. I think that is how you can help me with this. Thank you. If you can share, please let me share your status. Thank you. Okay, so let's get back to it. So like I was saying, before we continue, let me just continue from where I stopped. You need a GitHub account. So a GitHub is like a cloud account or cloud server where you can keep your code, and it is free. There's a paid version, but I don't think you will need that anytime soon. Then you need a card. So when I say I mean a debit card, maybe thank God that Nigeria now has, they are now accept foreign, payment. So you just need these to most of the other services you'll be needing. Like for example, the database. For database, I always use Supabase. All right. There are other ones that you can use, but I always use Supabase for my database account. It is free. There is a paid subscription, yes, but you can use it for free. Then for your front end and back end development, you can use Vercel. There is also Render, but I prefer Vercel because Render will spin down your server. The server will spin down if your app becomes inactive. Vercel will still give you some time. No, it's not as quickly as Render would do. So I always recommend Vercel for your front end and your server hosting and all of that. Then if you are going to put that app out for payment, you want people to buy, to make payment, to subscribe to the app, or to pay for it, you need a payment gateway or a payment service. I always use Stripe. I have a Stripe account. I always use Stripe. You can use other ones. There are several ones that are. So, for example, Paystack is one that is very common. It's very common in Africa and Nigeria. I believe what's this people named too? There is one other one also that is very popular like that in Nigeria. What's the name now? I've forgotten the name. But I always use Stripe because Stripe is global. Anywhere, anybody you are targeting, whether any customer from any country in the world, once they see Stripe, they know that their payment details is secure. So I always use Stripe to avoid any storage. So Stripe.com, Vercel.com, Supabase.com. You can visit all those places and register your accounts for free because you would need them if you are really going to build properly and begin to scale the application. So those are the three things. Now, the last thing you will need, because the way I build, you will see that if you look at the interface of the IDE I'm using, all right, you will see that the interface is black. That is VS Code. VS Code is also free. You can go to vscode, all right, .com, or just search VS Code and download it for free. Just install it. It's a very simple process. Just install, yes, install everything. Once you've installed it, and assuming that you have also registered your cloud subscription account, don't go to Anthropic, go to cloud.com. Claude, that is not cloud, sorry, Claude is the word. Claude, let me confirm this. I believe it's Claude AI. Claude.ai. Claude.ai. Okay, go to Claude.ai and register, subscribe. The lowest version is the Pro, I think. Subscribe, and then once the subscription is done, download VS Code. By the left, let me just show you on the this thing itself. So this is what I'm trying to explain. Download VS Code. This is VS Code. All right, this is VS Code application. It's this black space. Download it, install it. It's very easy to install. Then register with Claude. Register on Claude.ai. Pro subscription is about maybe $20. It depends on where you are buying it from and the currency. But I pay about £18 every month. Now you'll come to the left-hand side here. There is something that is called extension here. The extension is here. Under extension, this is by the left-hand side here. I believe you can see this. Come here. Once you click extension, it opens the search bar. You search for Claude Code. All right. Several one will come out. You see, there is chat for Claude. There is Claude Code Assistance for VS Code. Continue Open Source AI Code Agent. Claude Code YOLO. But what you need is the Claude Code for VS Code. Claude Code for VS Code. This is what you need to really follow through with this training that I'm teaching. So you click on it, and it should show you something here that says install. Mine says uninstalled now because I've already installed it. Click install, and it should just do its thing by itself. You don't need to do anything extra. Once that's been completely installed, this would show here, this sign here, this icon would appear here. And that icon is Claude Code icon. Okay, this is what shows that give you the assurance or the confidence that the extension has been fully installed or connected with VS Code. Okay, normally if you are doing it for the first time, it will prompt you to connect your Claude account. Once you install it, it will tell you to connect your Claude account. Just go to the browser, enter your details, connect it. That connection is done, then you are here. If you want to begin to code, all right, or you just want to begin to interact with the Claude Code agent or model itself, what you want to do is click here, new session. There is new session up here. If you click new session, there are two things that you must do. I just thought I should mention that before we go to new session. There is local and there is web. Okay, always use local. Reason is because you want to be able to test your application on your local server, that is on your laptop, locally without using internet necessarily before deploying it. So always select local and then new session. Once new session is selected, it will open. Let me just give an example. So if I click new session, it will open a new interface here. Now, from that interface, I would be able to chat with Claude. This is where I begin building. The terminal opens up. You see that the terminal has opened up now. So we can begin to chat with it from here, and that will do it. But I like to just have one session at a time. The reason I do that is because it helps me to be able to manage the flow of my conversation with the AI agent. I don't open multiple sessions. One session for each project is what I do. If the session becomes too long, the AI itself would compress it or compact it for you. Okay, so that is everything regarding how to configure your VS Code and your Claude Code. I think that is quite self-explanatory, I suppose, and I believe so. Yes, you can try free Claude. I've not tried it before, sincerely. I've not tried it, but I will say you can try free Claude. Somebody is asking on YouTube if free Claude helps. I've not tried it. I did not try it with free Claude. I always use the paid subscription. So you can give it a shot, but if it does not work, then I would suggest you just do the subscription. It's about $20. That way, and it's a month. Now, another thing that you need to understand about Claude is this. They have session limits. Claude also have weekly limits. So session limits, after using it, all right, when you start coding, it gets to a point where it will tell you, if you code for an extended period of time, or if the work you are doing is heavy, it will tell you that your session is fully used or has expired, or you've reached your session limits. If that happens, then you have to wait for another 5 hours or 4 hours, depending on how long. So the session run concurrently. So what that means is if I start using Claude now, that session begins immediately. So it starts counting towards 5 hours. If I did not finish the limit for that session within the next 5 hours, then it just jumped to the next session without stopping at all. But if I use up the entire session within 2 hours, then I have 3 hours to wait for the new session for another session to reset, and I can begin again. But you will hardly hit the session limit if you are not doing very heavy coding. You understand? So I hit it sometimes, but I don't think your coding will be heavy as a beginner, so you might not really hit it as such. So you should not be worried about that. And sometimes you might use up your entire weekly limit within 2-3 days if you are really coding heavily. So if that happens, you have to wait till the next 7 days, or as the case may be. If it ends on the 4th day, then you have 3 days left. Mine usually resets every Wednesday morning around 5 a.m. So that is how Claude works. Okay, and I think every other model also have limits. I used Gemini. I was building an application yesterday. What was it now that I was doing? Okay, one of the apps that I've built. So I was trying to do the demo for somebody today, and I need to check. I realized that they've retired in their API. They've retired Gemini 2.5 has been retired. So, and that is what I used to build the Copilot on that application, the compliance metrics, and some of the things I built into it. So I need to now update it. While I was doing that update, I realized that there was a limit that was hit. So I had to just put it on my Pro account. So these are the things that you should always know. There is limits to every one of it. There is no one that does not have limits. So whether you go to Codex, or you go to Gemini, you go to when anyone has limits. So that is just it. Now, finally, on what you need to get started, patience. Okay, you need patience. I've mentioned laptop or desktop, internet connection. You need a Claude account. You need a GitHub account. You need VS Code installed and connected to your Claude. All right, and you need 3 things that you need to get: your database, Supabase for your database, your server. You need Vercel. Register Vercel for free. For payment, if you want to integrate payments into it, you need Stripe. Register Stripe also is also for free. Now, the last thing is patience for your 2 or 3. So the thing is this: when you start building, you first encounter some how do I explain that? You need some possible discouragement. And the reason is because you want the AI to build something, is building something else, or is putting out a code that you don't even understand. Now, you need patience to understand it, but once you've successfully built your first app, you will see that it becomes very easy. Very, very easy. In fact, building an app becomes like a joke to you. If I show you the kind of the apps that I've built, many of it I did not even deploy it out publicly. I just use it privately. There was one that I built, Brain SEO is the name I call it. It is very versatile that it does. If I want to, for example, if I build a new app and I want to do the SEO, it is what does my SEO for me. It will scan for keyword that matches the competitor research, do everything for me, and give me the data on how to rank on Google. And it is working. I've tried it at least with two of my applications now. One website and one application, and it is ranking first, second page in most of the keywords. So you can build a lot of things. You will not have to sell everything if you don't want to sell it. Some you just use for your own personal stuff. I built one also, AnyAds. I was looking to actually deploy that for sale. And what I do is it helps me to build ad video, ad creative, because I do e-commerce too. So it helps me build creatives for my ad. So the video where an actor or somebody will be holding a product or describing the product or doing a testimonial of the product, it helps me build that also. I built it. It's not in the public, but I use it also for my personal stuff. All right, to create videos for my stuff and all of that. So having said all of that, let's start building tonight. Let's get to the coding part of things. Okay, so we need to start building, and in order to build, we need a few things. The first thing, like I said, you need your VS Code working, and then you need your Claude Code connected to it. Both has been done. Now let's read what is here. You might not be able to see it, but I will just read it out so that you can get it. The Spike is now complete. This is where this leaves us. Spike is complete on both Surface, Batch, and Interactive app, and the empty CVs folder is the only thing standing between you and the gate verdict. The synthetic fixtures prove the machinery works. They can't tell you whether the real CV break in way or building a product around. One caveat carried forward. Gemini Pro latest was returning persistent 503, so all validates use Gemini Flash latest. Remember I said that I didn't notice this until yesterday properly when I was working on the other application, and it tells me that the Gemini 2.5 was having issues. So it has updated this one also using Gemini for the AI part of things, and it has updated it also. The latest that it is using is Gemini 3.6 Flash. 2.5 has been retired, which produce correct reads throughout. Now that you are on a paid word comparing the two of the real CV, if Flash holds up, the reference read gets a lot cheaper. So I want to go now to test. The app is practically testing things to see before we invest time and energy into building it properly. So that is what it has been doing so far. So what we want to ask you to do now is to just proceed with that suggestion, all right, to test. It's just doing this test like a throwaway test, so to say. But while doing that, it is also building a method, an architecture to build the actual product for us. Okay, so I just tell you to proceed. While that is working on, I would like to go back to my ebook and begin to explain some of these things to you. Now, why anyone can build software? That is part one, the foundation of in the ebook. All right, what actually changed? AI coding tool they can't be trusted to do. So what actually changed? What AI coding tool can and can't be trusted to do, and how to set expectations that will keep you building instead of quitting in 2 weeks. So you will be tired if you don't know how these things work, and that's why I've put this ebook together. So it is very important to know this. Now, each AI model are versatile. They are very good at different things. There was a time when Google Nano Banana was the best when it comes to image generation. But I can tell you that ChatGPT is way, way better than Gemini Nano Banana now, because I use both, and I can tell you, if you don't want to stress yourself, you don't want to stress your life, if you want to generate image, just go to ChatGPT. Even Claude is not as very good in image generation like ChatGPT as it is now. There are other models that we know that does. For example, we are looking at video creation. We have the Sedans, which is very good. The Kling is also there, which is also good. Gemini VO3 is also there for video. So these app have different areas where they are quite good and versatile. All right, for Claude, is very good at writing code. All right, from a clear description across almost any common web or mobile stack. So when you say stack, it means library. So or the framework on which it is building the app. So for example, Next.js, like React, all right, like TypeScript React and things like that. Those are libraries or a framework in which you use to build applications. So there was a time that what we know when it comes to building application is majorly three things. Is either HTML, you do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These were the three. Now we have more advanced ones, all right, like React for the front end and TypeScript. We have Node.js, all right, for the back end. We have the Django and a few other ones like that. Okay, so these are some of the things that Claude is very good at writing. Is able to build it for you. Even when you're mobile, go mobile and all of those things, it's very good with building it. There is also something that is called BWA, Progressive Web Applications. Progressive Web Application is when a web app, when the app I built and I'm selling now, the AI built it in that way, where I did not build the mobile version separately. Okay, I built it as a PWA compliant application such that if you open the browser, the app on your phone, on your regular web browser on the phone, it will tell you to install the mobile version. So there is a mobile version that is not really mobile. It is compact into mobile-like version that stays on your phone instead of going to the web every time. So that is also PWA. AI can build it because I've also built something like that using that particular framework. So Claude is able to read an existing code base and understand how pieces fit together rather than the human skimming the same code. So I will give you an example of this. I built an application, not me. No, yes, a friend spoke to me that he wanted to build an application. It's a call forwarding application, but it does more than just call forwarding, where you can buy maybe a UK line, all right, and when that UK line has been bought, you then forward it to maybe Nigerian number or Nigerian line. Now, that app, I was building with a team of developers, back end, front end, UI, UX. Everybody was building it, but they could not finish it. Eventually, the team scattered, and thankfully, AI came on board. But that code has been on GitHub. We just left it on GitHub for about a year plus before we start having the AI improvement and things like that. So one day I just pull it down from GitHub and put it in Claude. I asked Claude to read it through. Claude read it through, all right. After reading everything through, it actually rebuilt that application from where it stopped, fixed every issue, every code issue, fixed everything, and built a fully functional call forwarding application. The only thing that I've not done with that application now is to start selling it, but it is ready. I mean, everything that when you call, I say, press 1 for billing, press 2 for this, press 3 for that. It is ready like that. Everything is. In fact, what I eventually did was I also incorporated AI into it, so it detects sentiments and all of that. And all of this was built using AI, so it is able to read and understand an existing code base. So if you have an app that somebody has been building and they could not progress with it, just learn this what I'm teaching you, put it in Claude. It will help you fine tune it and then ask you how you want to progress. All right. It handles tedious mechanical work of building, software. It's able to debug, it read errors and everything. Yesterday, I did a pen test. A pen test is when you test like your application to see if there's any vulnerability, whether if an hacker try to attack it, whether the attacker will be able to succeed. So I did a pen test. There is a GitHub repo. There is an app there that I used to do the pen test. When I was doing it, there were several errors that I noticed, but Claude will always tell you the reason why the error occurred and then help you debug and fix it for you. I was able to do the stress test. It detected 1 or 2 medium vulnerability and detected 1 critical and 1 low, and I just fixed everything as I go. So one of the things you do is when you build an application, you need to have a pen test done. The pen test is extremely important. If you don't have a pen test, you will not know if your app is safe or not. Okay, so the AI is still building. I've told it to proceed. So since that I've been talking, it has been building and it has not stopped building. Now, let's go further. I'm just trying to make sure that while that is going on, I'm also sharing some things with you that will be beneficial. Okay, it's very important that you understand this. It will be beneficial for you. Okay. Now, what AI cannot do yet as of now, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. What AI cannot do. Number one, AI cannot read your mind. So what does that mean? Or how does it relate to what we are sharing tonight? Don't assume that by just, for example, you want to build an ordering system, a logistic or a food ordering system, and you just go on Claude and say, build me a food ordering system. The AI cannot build it like that. You have to be specific. Vague instructions is wrong most times, and it will get you very bad results. So the AI cannot know what is in your mind. You have to be specific. Build me, I want to build a food ordering system or application. The food, you explain the flow. The customer logs into the app, or a guest or a signing customer is able to log into the app, and they are able to make order from an array of the selection of different meals and and soup that is available on the app. They are able to make order, enter their billing, make payment, enter their delivery address, and also track the progress of the food preparation and the delivery. They are also able to give feedbacks and review of how their customers served or they were treated by the customer or the business. Something like that, that is detailed. When you put out word like that, you now need to put example. I have something here on my screen that I pinned here. Your prompt has to have a few things that is very important. It has to be clear, provide relevant context, and tell you how to get a good prompt out. In the ebook, there is a section for prompts anyway. Use examples. All right. Ask for one thing at a time. Specify the format you want it. Use action verb, generate, analyze, create, build, things like that. Don't just don't give the AI, don't just tell it to do anything without being specific. Otherwise, you will not get the desired result. Pour out your heart, as it were, in the prompt so that they will understand what you want to build. Now, one thing you must also understand is that AI coding tool states incorrect things with the same confidence they state correct things. So AI can be correct and it can be wrong. But the problem that is there is that when they are wrong, they are confidently wrong. The same way they are confidently correct. So you don't just want to ask it to just build everything. You should be able to look at what it has written. Does it meet your expectation? If you don't understand something that looks shady or cheeky, just tell it to explain it. After explanation, if it's not something you want, you can tell it to correct it. AI is not always correct. And when it is not correct, it will confidently be wrong. And you will think it is correct if you are not doing your proper follow-up. Okay? That is extremely important. So let's go back to what we were building. So it found some bugs. So letter spacing section heading were misrepresented or misreported as interleaved. The row grouping check was dead code. The scan CV stacked 3 findings when one explained everything. So it has fixed whatever needs to be fixed now. Okay, so say differ now as evidence behind it across the 16 failure mode. Still unchanged. Real CV are the only thing that can answer the gate. This picture proof. So it's asking me to give a real CV. So what I will do is I will generate a CV from ChatGPT. I'll tell ChatGPT to give me to build a CV. Just let me do that in 1 minute. A real CV for a software engineer. Build it with any input demo data. It's realistic demo data. And give it back to me as doc file and PDF. So we are going to do this very quickly. All right. I'm just making sure that this thing is telling. So, and I think this is the best way to actually work this thing. If you're going to build correctly with AI, let it do its thing first. Let it do the all the findings it needs to do, all the testing before you start building. The reason is because when you start building, you will invest a lot of time into building. And I'm serious about it. Hours and hours of work sometimes. So you don't want to start building what you are not confident would work. You don't want to start building that. All right. Okay. I think I've used up my limit for GTB. Let me just go to my Gemini Pro. 1 minute. Let me just put this in Gemini instead. So Gemini is able to do that for me because I believe I'm on the Pro subscription there. So I just want it to be shown. Once I give it the okay, let me just see, where do I put the real CV for testing? Ask it, where do you put the real CV for testing? If you tell you the folder where I need to put that CV, let me see what it's going to ask. It said I should put it somewhere. CV, user desktop career accelerators, Spike CVs. Then from there, the folder already exists with git keep. Drop the PDF straight in subfolder work 2. It searches recursively, then from Spike. Okay, let's get this done. I want to see the result. Good. I want to see the result that we get. Let's see. Correct. This one has done it for me now. Okay, so it has created a sample. It has created a sample CV. Let me just put it where it asked me to put it, and then we'll see what result we're going to get with that. Spike CVs. Let me get one more CV. Do one more for chef. So I want to do two CVs from two different industries. One chef CV and the other one software engineer CV. So we're going to put both into the folder that Claude has requested us to put it into, and then it's going to test it and see if they have. No, we've not really started building. This is still the testing phase. Is actually able to check, all right, if the architecture, the design is able to do what we expected it to do. I know that you might be feeling like, guys, start building, but if you're going to build what will scale, what will last, you don't want to start wasting time before you are sure that that you are building the correct thing. It's very, very important that you pay attention to that. You don't just want to start building without being sure. So that is why I'm taking time to do this. Once this is done, we can go straight, okay, to building whatever we want to build. All right. So the chef is also ready now. So I would have this saved as doc. The first one was a PDF file. This other one is a doc file. The reason is I want to be sure that it's able to work with both kind of document formats. So this is also important so that anybody can upload either PDF or Word document, and it should be able to get the same result. They should be able to get the same result. Now we've uploaded two. Now, so now it's asking, if you look at something that is showing here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but here it's asking me to run this code, this command. All right. What this will do is it will run and then check the CVs for the feature that we are looking to test. All right. It's going to check to see if it can read the document, read all the data in that document, then compare it in terms of ATS. ATS now, the one that HR people use to check if a CV is compliant, whether it meets the job requirement and things like that. That is what it's looking to do. So it's asking me to put my Gemini key, and then I should run this code. So I will just take this code, I will put it inside here, inside this place, then I would run it. But let me add my code, my key first, so that when I run it, it works. It does not throw up errors. But if it does throw up error anyway, I can always ask it to debug and fix whatever error it is that is going on there. 1 minute. I'll just go to my API now, because for this you need an API. So I use always I use Gemini. Is kind of a lot somewhat cheaper than majority of these. So there you go. So I've now put it in there, and then we'll see what happens after. Let's continue with with the teaching or with the training. Let's just continue with the training. Yes, other screen are not shown because I have to be switching in between the screens, but that is fine. I will be switching now. I will switch between the screens so that you can see what is really going on. All right, in between that. Um, Thank you very much for pointing that out. Where are you watching from, sir? MZGPPM official. Where are you watching from? What location are you watching from? Thank you. All right. So now that we have this working, what we just need to do is okay. It is already working for us. Two files has been found. If you look at it now, it has found two files. Those are the two documents that are uploaded in the folder. The first CV is a PDF. The other CV is a doc file. And the reason I put those two is because I want the application to be able, because those are the common document format that people use when they're uploading their CVs and all of that. I want to make sure that when this app is fully built, both formats are acceptable and can be read by the app. Okay. Now, while that is working, let's just continue. All right. Another thing that AI cannot do, even though it has memory, AI has memories and all of that, it cannot hold your entire project in its head forever. The reason is because it has what we call limited context window. Some has 200, some has more, some has lesser, all right? But what I've done in this ebook is in chapter 8 of the ebook, I have explained how all of these context thing works. So if you get to chapter 8, you'll be able to see what it is and what it practically entails. But normally there is AI model have memory. So what you want to do is once something is done that you think should be remembered, always tell it to record it in its memory. Always, don't forget, always tell it, because it is possible that you are working for a few days and then you remember that, oh, you did something 4 days ago, you wanted to remember it. It might not remember it if it has gone beyond its context limit. So, but if you have told it to record it in the memory, even if it is after 2 weeks, it will always read the memory doc and then get it out for you and remind you. So it cannot always remember everything forever in its head. So understand this when you are building with AI. Always tell it to record or save its memory based on whatever you think is important and that needs to be remembered. So for example, what I do is if I've troubleshooted a situation for a very long time, maybe I'm trying to solve a problem, I'm debugging it and I could not get over it for a very long time. When I eventually solve it, I want the AI to record the solution, how we got there and what works. The reason is if I come across that similar issue in the future, I can tell it to go back and check what was done in the previous sessions, and that will really help you. Let me see. You have mentioned that you are not seeing what I was doing. So let me see. Okay, it is before. I wanted to share my ebook screen before, but let me just now it ran and the first CV produced genuinely useful results. Lenient greenhouse 100%, street Taylor 77, row 3 disappeared entirely. Title, employee, date are all gone. Now, you see why I said it is good to use every format. I'm thinking as a product manager, I'm a product manager too. Now, this is doc file. The app performs well with this testing with PDF. But with the doc file, there is an issue. Okay? It's skipping some of the sections of the CV, which it should not normally do. From what the AI has told me, said it can't get the reference, it couldn't read the reference, and it wanted to convert that word to PDF. It wanted me to convert it to PDF, but I will not do that. I will tell you because users will upload both doc and PDF, and this is why testing is important. It's telling me convert your doc to PDF so that I can run the test again, but I'll tell it no, because users often upload doc and PDF as their CV, both should work perfectly, so it should resolve that issue. This is the first thing. AI will give you advice, but brain needs to be working also. Otherwise, if you take every advice it gives you, you will produce a poorly developed application. So let me tell it. The users of this app will upload both PDF and docs files. Therefore, I need the doc to work 100%. Fix. Now, one thing I also like to emphasize is when I'm chatting with it or giving instruction, I always tell the AI professional standard. I don't just tell it to fix, I'll tell it based on professional standard level. So fix it 100%. Need to docs to work 100%. Fix this professionally and in measure that meets professional standard. So then retry the test. So this is what I've told it. Now it's trying to tell me, say I'm having issue with the doc CV, convert it to PDF, and once we convert to PDF, I will try again. But I'm telling it now, no. Because users that will be using this app will be uploading their CV in PDF. They'll also be uploading this document in doc file. All right. So both should work perfectly. All right. Now see. It's like the AI is trying to dodge work. See what the AI does. Responded and I said, docs needs real work. The reference read require rendered page, so this means a conversion step plus proper header footer handling. Let me see what's actually available on this machine first. You see, if I didn't tell it to do that, it would just tell me to convert Word to doc and it will continue what it was doing. You need to know how to prompt it. You need to know how to speak to it. You need to be wiser than it. It's extremely important, all right, that you do that. Okay, so that is an important thing I think you should take away from this learning, because it is important that you learn how to interact with the AI. It is important that you know how to chat with it. It is important that you know how to instruct it to work for you. I'm still reading now. Let me just continue Okay, so let me share the screen of what I'm reading all this time so that you can see it. Window capture. Okay, so the AI is still building, but this is what I'm reading from. This is my ebook. So guaranteeing security and scalability by default. All right, left unchecked, AI generated code tends to work, while quietly skipping the boring, unglamorous safety and performance work a careful engineer would insist on. All right, part 6 exists because of this gap specifically. So in the part 6 of this book, I've written how you should manage this. Okay, now look at the example, something that just happened now. We are building an application that would require two kind of format, basically PDF and doc file. And the AI is telling me that I should convert my own doc file to PDF before uploading it, because it does not want to go through the stress of doing any heavy lifting in the application. So if you don't know how to do these things, I think it will not be very helpful. All right, one thing I would do, and I want you to keep this what's it called now? This link. I'll just put it in the comment section. This link, you should keep it till the time when you start building. Keep it when you start building. I'll leave it in the comment section and pin it if possible. The reason I'm saying that is because that is a GitHub repo, all right, where you can test vulnerability of your app. So after building the app, you give this repo to the AI and tell it to test it, to do a vulnerability test. It's going to attack your app like a real hacker would do. It's going to try to attack that app like a real hacker would do, and trying to find out if there is any vulnerability. Usually what you need to do before doing this, I don't know, maybe I'm just jumping ahead now, is make sure that tell it to first of all stage your app for testing. You should not use the live code. You should create a separate staging, like a sandbox containment for that testing. so that it does not, because this, if it starts working, it is likely to enter your code and spoil what you don't want to be spoiled. So, but it's an important code to keep. Let me drop it. I've dropped it in Facebook comment. Let me drop it also in TikTok comment section. Let me pin it. So if you something that you need, you like, you are interested in, just copy the link and keep. It will be helpful for you in time to come. Let me drop it in the YouTube also, and then pin it for you. This is good to test your the YouTube is not allowing me to paste it. What is going on here? So YouTube is not allowing me to paste it. Let me just put space. Maybe it's because it is I'm not sure. Yeah, boy. Sorry, please. My boy is here. Yeah. You want to wear your shoes? Go and make mommy to help you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I think YouTube is not allowing me to paste it. I think they I don't know why it's saying that the comment is nine characters too long. I don't know how to. If you are on YouTube and you really need the link, I would advise that maybe you just send me an email later on. I will send it to you. I think that would work, because you will need it at some point if you are really going to continue with this to really build something tangible. Okay, you will need it. So that is one, and then let's continue. Okay. Let's see. So that is very important in terms of security. That link will come in handy to test. There are a few things that needs to be very secure. All right, your auth sessions, that is the login, the logout, the password reset, the authentication, all those things needs to be very secure. So you want to make sure that it works very well. Now, let me just read this before we continue with the building. Setting realistic expectations. You will not vibe your way to a production-ready, secure, scalable app by typing one sentence and walking away. Despite what some demos imply, you can realistically build a genuinely working, deployed, real usable product on your own in weeks rather than years if you follow a structured process rather than improvising prompt by prompt. That structured process is the entire point of the craft model, and we're going to see that in part two. So what I've done with this ebook was I created a structure around the craft model. All right, the craft model will be explained in details in the book. It will help you to guide you like a blueprint on how to build step by step till you reach a fully built application. So that is what the craft model actually does. There are also workbook, like a self-assessment workbook to test if you really understand what you've read from the book, and then action plans. The reason I did it like this is supposed to be a workbook, so like a book that will make you do things practically, not just theory. So that is why we have this. I have these action plans and the self-assessment at the end of every section. Okay. Now, how software actually works, that is chapter 2. But before we go to chapter 2, let's see what is happening in okay, it is still working. Okay, the app is still working. That's good. So before I continue, is there anybody that have any question? Do you have any question at all? Do you have any question at all? If you have a question, I want to take it so I can respond to it. I've said a few things. I've spoken a lot in this particular sessions. Is there anybody who wants to ask a question about what I've said so far, or there is something that you want to learn, or that you are not clear about that I've not mentioned? Is there anything like that? Drop it in the comment section and I will be able to respond to that as we go forward. I'll be checking my comments after a while. Okay, so I also said that I'll be building free application, okay, for 10 businesses. I mean, not application, website, sorry. Free website for 10 businesses, all right? I'll be building free application for 10 businesses. If you are a business and you need help, okay, with your website, you want to build a website or whatever that seems around, just building a website for visibility, to show your product, to show your services, you can reach out and I'll build one for you for free. All right, using AI. We can even use it to do a demo while on a live session like this. Let's see where we are with this. Okay, it is still building. So I want to see if you have any question before we go to chapter 2 of this course, of this live session, sorry, of the ebook, I mean. All right, there is no question. Both CV process now, correct. Zero skipped, updating the docs. Let me share the screen and show you what is going on now. Now, it has completely built that, it has done the test again, it has fixed whatever was wrong. You see, I could have allowed it just go the way it said, this one is working fine, this other one is not working fine, so convert this for me. If I had converted my doc to PDF and give it to it, it would have just go like that. But now that it has fixed it, both PDF and doc files now work. Now, what that means is once this app is fully built, anybody that has anything that has to do with anybody that upload any document at all right, whether PDF and a CV, either PDF or doc file, will be correctly processed. And I think that is very, very important. I believe you can see what it's doing now. So it has everything that needs to be fixed is now thoroughly fixed, which is what we actually wanted. Great. Design decision also matter. The two type files take different routes on purpose. Native and ATS stand in reference sent as is render to PDF first. So whatever way it does it, so what it does is when you upload doc file here, it converts it to PDF, then render it before rendering it. It renders it to PDF first before passing it to the ATS screening engine. So it's telling me to install LibreOffice. All right, I will just tell it to do that. Why ask me to do it? Okay, so it has corrected the previous issue. Let me find where it's actually landed. And then it's installing everything now. Once we are done with this, I believe we should be able to go to the next feature. What it has been working on since the last video I did now till now is the ATS scoring system. You know, when people are applying for job, all right, the system that the HR people use, all right, is the ATS system. So they call the full word for ATS is the application tracking system. So when people apply for job and things like that, it goes through the ATS system. What the ATS system does is that it checks because they have settings in the settings of the ATS system, the kind of requirement they want, the kind of qualification they want, and things like that. The kind of structure they want, the kind of structure that the ATS system would like and would want. All right. So what we are doing with this app is making sure that users are able to first come here, put in their CV, then it checks, does this CV meet the ATS tracking system? Does it, if it's going to go through to an employer of labor, would they be able to shortlist you at least before you even do interview, whether you pass or not the interview? Will you be shortlisted? So this is one of the things that this app does actually, and this is what it is trying um, to test since last the two sessions that we've had. This was what it's been trying to test basically. Okay, let's see where we are. So it's trying to install the LibreOffice because of the Word doc CVs that will be uploaded. That is what it's trying to do now, and I think it's struggling with it. But then it's eventually gets a way around it and have it sorted. By the way, let's continue our teaching. Let's continue the teaching if it's something that you like. So, how does the software work? Let me share this with you so that you can see what I'm reading out. So, how does a software works? It's important to know how this works so that it will help your mind. It will help you understand how to position all of the app you'll be building. Okay. Now, in chapter 2 of this ebook, you will learn, all right, various concepts that are underneath every app you will ever use or build. Explain ones properly so every clear chapter can use this word without explaining them. So in this chapter, what I've done is I've carefully explained how software works so that when you get to other section of this app, of this book, where it might look a little bit more complex than this, you would have this at the back of your mind, how it works. So let's use this. I'm going to explain how software works by simply using the restaurant model. So picture a restaurant, the dining room and menu. This is what the customer sees. So when you enter a restaurant, what you see is you see the chairs, the tables properly arranged, and then they give you a leaflet or a booklet with menu. All right. Now, the way a waiter takes an order. So the dining room, the menu are what the customer sees and interacts with. The tables, the menu, they are the way a waiter takes an order. So it is by that book and the sitting down of the customer on one of the dining tables, that is how the waiter is able to take order. If the customer was not sitting or having a menu in their hand, they will not be able to take orders. Now, in software development, that is the front end. That is what everybody sees. When you enter, you see plates arranged properly, you see table, you see chairs. All right, you see the order menu, you see, the aesthetics in that hall. That is the front end. If you enter a place that is bad, if the front end, the visual you see is not impressive enough, it looks dirty and not properly tidied up, you will likely want to leave. But even if the food is bad, but the environment looks quite neat, you would first of all stay. After tasting the food, you can now say, oh, I don't like this place, I don't like their food. So in software development, that is front end. Everything that the user that uses the app sees, the things that they click, the things that they have interactions with, that is front end. So that is the first section of the software, the front end. When you go to a website, you see the way it is built, the design, that is front end. You see a button, you click it, that is front end. You see a form, you're able to fill it, that is front end. Everything you see is front end. Now, using the restaurant model, we have the kitchen. Is where the actual work happens, okay? So that particular section is out of sight. You don't see the kitchen of every restaurant you go to, all right? Even if you make an order, you don't see how it is done in most kitchens. You see that they bring the food to you, except you go to a buffet and you see everything happening right before you. But ideally, kitchens are not places where the customers go. They sit in the dining room or the restaurant, open space to eat their food. Now, that kitchen is where the actual work is being done. Is where the actual cooking happens. Now, in software development, I'm trying to explain this in a way that you can relate with. In software development, that is what we call the back end. It is where the logic runs. The logic that runs the server, that is where it is. That is where it sits. It decides what happens when a user does something. So, for example, a user click a button. Do you want a pop-up to open up? Do you want a form to be submitted? Do you want, things like that is determined from the back end. That is where the actual work happens. All right. We've spoken about the dining and the menu. Talking about the front end. We've spoken about the kitchen. That is the back end. Now, in the restaurants, we have other things that they also use for their business. Let's check if this is done. Oh, it is done now. Okay. So like I said, it was struggling to download it earlier. To download the LibreOffice, absolutely nothing is blocked. Deploy docs. So to actually install it, so primary concern not to this, but since your user will upload Word file, the server needs Libra eventually, and the Libra backend is convert is still code that has never been executed. So to actually install it, real LibreOffice is at or do we get install or get or we get install no computer the convert. Let me just do this. Let's see. Let me just download uh, that particular software or library that is requesting for. Now put it in a place where it can find it, and then so let me just share what I'm doing. So let me see the my um, so my app is hanging, my laptop is hanging. Let me see. So this is very strange. OBS is actually hanging. Let me see if I can. Let me just go straight, and I need to be able to. So let me move this to. Let me move to the directory. Desktop. Spy. And I don't want to close this OBS. What is going on here? Let me see if I can reduce the memory usage. Close some of the applications whether it will help it. I have a few things opened up. Let me close them. Close this one. I'm not sure if you can still see me or you can hear me, or my OBS is hanging as it is now. If you can hear me, please can you just drop a comment in the session, in the comments, just drop a word so that I can be sure that you are still hearing me clearly. The OBS studio is hanging. I want to be sure that what I'm saying you can still hear me. Trying to see. Can you hear me, please? Can somebody drop something in the comment section just to be sure that we can hear ourselves, please? Thank you. So you can see what is on the screen, by the way, the pantry and the fridge. So this stores, pantry and the fridge stores the ingredients, the flour, the egg, whatever, right, is needed in the software. So in software, this is the database. This is where all the information, all the data lives permanently. So every client, every booking, every user account organized so it can be found and updated reliably. So this, what we are trying to explain now is we have the front end, we have the back end, we have the database. Database is what takes or has all of the data that is being transmitted within that software for it to be able to function correctly. And in the restaurant model, we use a fridge as an example where you put your egg, you put your pepper, you put all these things to keep them together and well organized. Now we also have the waiter. The waiter carries order from the dining room to the kitchen and bring the food back. In software, this is the API, application programming interface. So a defined way for front end to ask the back end to do something. So API is like the communication channel. When front end wants to speak to back end, it talks through the API, like the messenger sort of. It speaks to the API tells the back end, then the back end does that thing and then return it through the API back to the front end. Then the user sees something done on the front end. So it's like the front end, a defined way for the front end to ask the back end to do something. For example, book an appointment, get an answer back done. Here is your information. So the restaurant model helps you to see how software actually works practically. Okay. Now, the building itself. So these are some of the things that makes up a restaurant. The physical premise the restaurant operates out of is the hosting, all right, the rented computer somewhere else in the world, or the rented server somewhere else in the world that keeps your app running and reachable 247, so that it doesn't just so it doesn't just live on your laptop. So for example, I mentioned Vercel earlier. Vercel is an example of an hosting platform. It hosts your front end, it also holds your back end code, and it runs on that place. Render is another one. Also, we have what's the name of this one now? There are other big ones that I forgot to mention. I'm trying to remember now, but because I don't use it, so Amazon, EC2, and all of those places are also one. The Microsoft Azure is another one, and there are several other ones like that. That is like the housing or where the app is being hosted. Um, my OBS is not working. In fact, I don't know why. Let me just see. I don't know what is wrong with it now. If I close it, all the live sessions goes off, and I need to be able to see what is going on. I don't know how to work around it. Every other thing is working except the OBS. Every other thing is working except the OBS. So I'm not sure if, let me see. I will just, if I shut it down, everything goes off. What do I do? Let me see. Let me just try this first and see. So I might have to close the OBS, but that is not what I want. So I might have to close the OBS and then restart the stream again because it is now hanging, and I'm not able to change. I'm not able to change. Oh, it is working again. Great. It is working again. No, thank God. Though. Okay. Let's get back to what we were doing previously. Okay, so this is where we are now. So, like I said earlier, it asked me to download the. If you remember correctly, it was asking to download. Let me see. This is not showing very well on my. I'm trying to fix the TikTok video is not properly showing. It's not showing properly as it should. Apply. So So it is now installing Libra. It is installing Libra. Once that is done, that would help with the that would help with the what's it called now, with the doc file, because it needs to the app needs to be able to take in accept doc file and PDF file in CVs to process it for the ATS tracking and all of that. So that's why I'm installing the Libra. So that is Libre Office version 26.5.2. And you can see that it is currently building. While this is going on, installed at verify the conversion picks it up and that the backend actually works. Okay, let's see. All right. So we are now building. Oh, oh no 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 no! It's ended. Okay, can I restart this? No. So I think the OBS at some point disconnected, and Sorry, I think my internet went off at some point. So my internet went off. I think that was why the OBS studio hung earlier. Let's continue. Okay. I want us to be able to see what has been built in the front end. This is one of the things I think it is the ATS um, system is working now, I think. So I would want it to start building the front end. I would want it to start building the front end so that we can see what is actually being built. Just so that we don't just stay, on the back end, because back end does not look very interesting when you are building stuff. It just looks like you are wasting time until you begin to see what the app does practically in the front end. So I will try to ask it to now translate what has been built and working to a front end interface. So we need to. So one thing I also do is this: when I want to build my front end, you can either ask the AI to build it, all right, by itself, tell it to just build. But one thing I used to do is if you come to dribble.com, okay, you will see different um different templates or different UI that is already built. Okay, let me just. So Dribble is not okay. It's opening now. So if you come to Dribble, let me share and so you can see what I'm doing. Um, not that one. Looking for which one to share now. There's my Explorer and TLB Cloud, not so it's not coming back. Let me see where this. That's another one. Hmm. So it's not allowing me share. I can't find it on my list of windows that can be shared. But the point is, if you come to dribble.com, you just got to explore and search for UI. So let's say we are building a career accelerator UI. If you just search anything that relates to that, it will come up with different pre-built templates, all right, of UI. If you find one that you like, just copy it, okay, copy it, and then take it back to Claude, give it to it, and tell it that you want your UI to be designed, similarly like this. It will be able to. It will be able to then help you build it, all right, in a similar way. It might not be exactly the same, but it will be very similar, or use the same pattern, things like that in the design. I'll just find one because it's always better to have it done like that. Really, it gives you a proper professional interface, even right from the scratch. So I found a few ones that I think is good. Let me just see which one I want to go for. I found one that they call Smart Resume. Let me see, but I don't know if I need Smart Resume or not. Do I need it? 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 Let me just come copy the image. Okay, so everything works now. Now I need you to now build a full-fledged front end using React. Tailwind. So you can use that TypeScript or Tailwind. So either of the two is fine. Or Tailwind, TypeScript. So I will now upload. You just copy the UI, all right, that you found. Just copy it and put it there. I don't want the very complex front end, so I'll just put these two. Let me give it two. I have added a sample design I want for the dashboard. Adapt it to your design. So what I've done is I found two UI on Dribble that I think is good and would match what we are building, the app we are building. So I'm now giving it to AI, all right, to build our front end. And I've told it the libraries to use. React, Tailwind, or TypeScript is fine. That one is fine. I've added the examples as an attachment. I mean the one I got from Dribble. Then I want to build the dashboard and adapt that design to whatever it's building. So let's see what it does now. And by the way, to give me a task, I need you to give me a to-do list so that I can track and the entire project's progress. Now this here I can tell you that the front end is not the next thing to build, that it should build more things. So but let's just give you this and see what the response would look like. So what I'm sharing with you now is what will help you when it comes to having a very good UI from Ab Initio. If you tell it to just build a UI, it will build something for you, all right? But if you need specific one that you want, if you find a UI that you like, just copy the image, paste it, tell it to build or adapt that design, then it will really help. You see what it says? It says good reference, clean card-based dashboard, soft severity chip, left nav, right rail. It adapts that structure to the identity the Spike already has. Blue, print blue, cool neutral, monospace for data. So the app and the report looks like one product. Let me check the toolchain first. So it has started working on this. Started working on this particular one now. It's going to build the front end, and I want you to just see the front end. I believe if we're able to see something from what we've built so far, you will understand that the work that has been done from the last session and this session is not in vain. Because I know when you come and you watch and you're not saying anything, you might look like, what is this guy really doing? All right. So now I've told you to build us something, to give me a to-do list so that I can monitor the progress of the application. Good. It has quickly done that for me now. The first thing it's doing now is to scaffold the Vite or React and TypeScript plus Tailwind version 4 in the web. Define design token, the palette, the type scale, the light or dark, and base UI primitives, button, card, badges, chip, meta, tabs, and models. To build the app shell, sidebar nav, top bar, routing, responsive collapse, add a JSON API to the fast API backend. Remember I told the API backend, API is like the waiter. If you remember in the restaurant model we spoke about earlier, it's like the waiter that stays in the middle, get order from the front end, pass it to the back end, get a completed response from the back end, take it back to the front end, and the user sees the completed task done. So that is what API, whenever I mention API, that's application interface programming, that is what it means. Something that connect front end and back end and make them to work very well, basically. That is what it does. So this is good. I'm hoping that I'll be able to complete this entire to-do list before the end of this live session. If I'm able to do it, I will be very, very happy, because I might be tired, and when I'm tired, I would have to drop off and come back again another day. But based on what we are building now, I'm hoping that we'll be able to get to a good place tonight. I hope that we'll be able to get to a good place tonight. I really want us to see what the front end will look like and what we are building. Really, I want us to see the front end and what it would look like. Again, if you have any question, please ask. If I've said something that you don't understand, drop it in the comment section. Ask me about it, and I will try to explain as much as I can so that you can understand it. Also, the ebook is there if you need it. I'll be selling it. It's not going to be free, but if you need it, you can reach out to me and I will be able to give you. Also, I'll be creating a community, all right, for those who want to be part of the community can join, and we can build things together and help each other grow. All right, I would be able to guide you to till you build a full-fledged application. So, um, I think that is an important thing to do at this point. Let's see where we are. It is still working. All right, the severity mapping I just wrote reverse engineer meaning from the findings, blah 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 blah. So it's working now. Let me see if I can do the app install if anything has been built. I thought it was gonna work. No. So let me go to Spike. See the Spike. Run there. Let me see if anything can be run from here. No. Let me see where we are. Uh, I want to see if we can start monitoring the progress from the browser. Okay, web. Let me try and run it as such. Okay, let's see what it does. It opens. Let's see what is being built. Okay, if you can see my screen, I'm not sure if you can, but let me see if you can. So if can see my screen, this is where we are. All right, the AI is just beginning to build the front end. So far, this is just where we are. There is nothing special as of now. But as it builds it, it will begin to update. It will begin to update, and then the actual full-fledged application will become visible. Let me just open this here. So this is what it looks like at first, the front end. It does not look anything important at all to us. But as we go on, as we read, as we build, as it builds more, we begin to find out that it is doing a very good job. Um, so I just wanted you to see, all right, how this thing works. Oh, are you able to see my? Okay. Yes, you should be able to see. Why is it not showing on here? It's showing on Facebook. Okay, it's not showing on. It's showing on. Mm, wonderful. Okay, so let's see where we are. Let's see. This is where you begin to like what we are doing. Once the front end is ready and working properly, you would love what you are seeing. Okay, for what you're building, we'll be doing the back end, working around the back end, and it might look like we are not doing anything. But once the front end start, coming together, the front end start coming together, you see what we've been building practically. Um, let's see how far we've gone with this. Let's see. Okay, so the progress is coming in gradually. The scaffold has been done. The JSON has been done. It's not writing the. It's not writing the. What's it called now? It's writing the API, the endpoint APIs, and then let's see. So I believe on the fourth stage of the on the after writing the API client and it says TypeScript type mirroring CV and 5 edit and different results. It will now begin to actually build the actual the shell and the design token and all of that. So once we get to maybe the 5 or the 6th, we should be able to begin to see some things. We should be able to see some things gradually on this particular app. Um, if you are watching me, kindly share this. Live stream. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to TikTok. Follow me on Facebook. I believe that this would benefit somebody immensely, and this is all you can do for me. Just help me share as much as you can. Help me share. I will be very happy if you can do that. I think that is the only thing you can actually do for me as of now. Help me share on Instagram. Help me on Facebook. On several other places. It's very, 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 very important. Thank you. Let's see what we are doing now. Let's see what we are doing. Okay. Let's see where we are. So this is a very long task. All right, it's a very long task. So it might take some time for it to fully build, but it's going to complete it anyways. And I want to make sure that the front end is ready before I leave the live streaming today. Once we have the front end all built up, we'll go back to start building the back end again. I just wanted to see that we are building something so that you don't just think that this guy is wasting our time here. I will just continue to also begin to share how software works. I've explained that in order to understand how software actually works or how it is being built, all right, I've used the restaurant model to explain this to us. The dining room and the menu, this is what the customers see when they come to the restaurant. That is the front end. The kitchen is where the cooking happens, all right, where the menu is being prepared. That is the back end. The fridge or the pantry, right, is where we store all of our things, flours, eggs, and things like that for later use. That is the database. The waiter is the one that carries the order from the dining room to the kitchen, from the kitchen back to the dining room. All right, that is the API, the application programming interface. That is what how do I put it now? The API is the connecting dots. You want something to happen in the back end, you send it through the API. You want something the back end to do something in the front end, you send it through the API. So the API is like the messenger, the waiter that connect both front end and back end together. and then the building itself where everything is being hosted, the food, the kitchen, the waiter, the fridge, that is the hosting platform. And I've explained all of this, that this is what actually a software entails. Basically, that is how software actually works. I have a diagram in the ebook to further explain this for you. We have the front end, what you see and click, or what the user see and click. We have the back end, that is the logic, all right, what happens when things are clicked. We have the API in between the front end and the back end, all right. This is what communicates between them, and then we have the database where all of the data lives permanently. Now, all of these things then, all right, has one other place that is called the hosting. That is where the front end and the back end stays for them to be able to work. It's like a computer that lives in the cloud somewhere else, all right, and make sure that everything you built, your code continues to work while you sleep. Okay, that is how well, the easiest way I can explain that to you. Okay, now in the ebook, I there are two projects that if you go through the ebook from start, you should be able to follow through to the end, and should be able to build two projects what has been included in that ebook. The first one is booked in. The other one is add pulse. So the booked in is an app where people can do book for appointment, book things for job, for local businesses, for servicemen. You should be able to build it. If you go through the ebook, the prompt, everything is there. You should be able to, if you follow the ebook, you should be able to build a full-fledged booking application like that. And you can actually sell it. You can host it. People can subscribe to it. I've also added another one. There are two actually. Add pause. That is a little bit complex than the book booked in. Add pause is like a creative asset for a creative app for those that wants to run Facebook ad, YouTube ad, Google ad. I've added these two projects. They are live project that you have to put. Is a practical thing. The book is not a theory. You have to put your hands down and actually code, all right, using your AI. The prompting, everything is already described in the book on how to achieve it. If you can successfully build these two applications by following what is in the ebook, then you should be able to build any application at all. Because that would really help you to just, it not just help you, to also stretch you to make sure that you are able to achieve while you are building, you get more knowledge, more than what is written in the book. You see things done practically, and then you are able to then apply some of those to other projects that you may have. So let me see where we are. You see where we are. So it's beginning to build the front end gradually. You see, this is what I believe you can see my screen now. It is beginning to build it now. This is like the MVP. So MVP is the minimum viable product, as a working product, the minimum working product. So it is not fully built, it's not full-fledged yet, but it is working. So this is what the AI is building as of now. And this is what we are building now. Let's see what the system says. So you can change it to dark, you can change it to light. Okay. Let's say the profile, it is not fully built yet. Let's say the setting is not fully built yet. So we are still building. You see what I'm saying here? What we are building is already coming live. You see all the font styling, the interface. You can tell it to build it in a certain way, but it's good to just let it build the first MVP. Once the first MVP has been built, then you can go back to begin to tweak and make corrections and improve it. Now, remember I mentioned earlier. Okay, I think it has even completed that section. So, what has been built back to back? So processes run it. Come in. It wants me to run a particular code. So let me upload a document and see if it is ready to work or not. I downloaded. Okay, is here. Coming, coming. Spike CVs. So let's upload this one. So I'm not sure if the back end is reachable as of now, but the front end is definitely working. Um, let's see. So I did not mention something. Sorry, this there is a terminal just below the chart. This is the chart interface. Below it is a terminal. This is where you run command and things like that. So it's very important to okay, I think I might have to run the two codes separately. One is back end and one is front end. Let me just run it separately. So that I can have the back. Okay, it says only one usage of each socket is permitted. Let's see what it does. Oh, wonderful. No, this is not the one. This is it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So this was the coming. Let me see what I checked, what I got here. So you see what I'm saying here? It's actually working. I uploaded the CV, right? This CV, Marco Rossi. It's just a name that I just made up, and it tests it based on the ATS system, tracking system. Okay, findings: set two-column layout, naive passes, read across column rather than down them, context inside, blah blah blah. So this, what it does, it read through your CV and then it analyzes it for you. Okay, render from the code, countable not generated, every point lost. So extraction score, it extracted everything, and then let me reanalyze. This is what we are trying to achieve. Now, this is just the MVP. This is not the full-fledged application yet. This is just an MVP. And it will really be helpful if you just try to, learn some of these things, because they would eventually help you. They will help you a lot. All right? It will help you a lot. Whether you like it or not is something that you would eventually need if you ever want to make anything out of coding, as it were. Okay, this would help you achieve that. Now that we have something to show and a proof of concept, then I would call it a day here. We can go and then do other things and come back again later. I'm going to stop the project here. I'm not going to build anything more. I always like to build everything on the live session so that you can see what is being done. And I believe that I've been able to do that correctly today. This is just a proof of concept. We're going to build it more and expand it as time goes on. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. If you have any question, please reach out to me, send me a message, send me a DM, chat me, whatever, and I'll be able to help. If you need the ebook that I've been teaching from, let me know. It comes for a price. It's not free of charge. I'll send it to you. You pay, and then can also be added to the community. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night rest. Peace out.